Hi, Virgo and Virgo Rising. Here is your horoscope for April 2025. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. All right, you're in mid-transition this month, and this is because, last month there was a lunar eclipse in your sign in the first house of identity and self. So over the course of the next 6 months up to a year, you will absolutely completely change in some way. Could be your physical appearance, could be where you live, could be, how people see you. It could be, change of hairstyle, new clothes, whatever it is, because a lunar eclipse usually brings up something having to do with the identity and self because it was in the first house. So if you're a rising sign in Virgo, a sun sign in Virgo, this is a general overview using sun sign tropical astrology. And again, it'll still be accurate, but not as accurate as your own actual birth chart with the exact date and time and place. But this will give you a good idea of what's going on based on the sun sign positions. So anyway, we also had a solar eclipse on the 29th that lit up this 8th house. And this 8th house has to do with the psychological well-being. It has to do with finances. It has to do with a sort of a transformation, if you will, a psychological one, a physical one. There's also death and rebirth under this umbrella. I'm not saying you're going to die, but I'm just saying that it's a change of some kind. So between those two last eclipses last month, many of you that have that rising in Virgo or Virgo sun are on your way to some major changes in the next 6 months. And you'll notice them, very subtle changes. Now, we start off this month, it's a little slow until the second half of the month because Mercury here is in retrograde along with Venus in retrograde, and they're all being joined in the 7th house with the North Node and Saturn. So this is making it quite difficult for relationships, or you're thinking about relationships from the past, or you can't get over a relationship from the past. Very nostalgic period for many of you. Okay, because retrograde just means going back. And when your ruler is going backwards, you're going within, or you're having to revise and revisit, and there could be a lot of confusion in the mix. This is just how it works. And so with Venus and Mercury together like this, with these other planets in the 7th house of relationships, this is a total review process, at least for the first week to 10 days. The good news is that Mercury will come out of retrograde, and also Venus will come out of retrograde. Okay, so the second half of the month I see being an improvement. Let's put it that way. I would say an improvement. So we also have Mars that's finally going to come out of Cancer as well and go into Leo in your 12th house. Now, this gets a little tricky again because Mars is very motivated in Leo, but in the 12th house, it's more of a secretive, I want to work from behind the scenes, I want to work on myself kind of mindset. So we'll get to that in a little bit as well. The good news, though, is when the sun enters Taurus, now things start to improve because Taurus is another earth sign like Virgo and Capricorn. So things should start to improve. So as you start off the month, there's a deep psychological side to your well-being right now because the sun is going through Aries. We just had an eclipse in Aries. So you're thinking about everything, the finances, the investments, the inheritance, if you have one, what you should do with your money, all these things. Maybe you're planning for a funeral. I'm not saying you're going to die. I'm just saying because this is the 8th house that has to do with all that dark stuff, that nobody wants to talk about. But there could be those thoughts as well. Of what am I doing? I'm transitioning here from one reality to another kind of mindset. So this is the theme that's going on as we start. Now, fortunately, on the 7th, Mercury, your ruler, starts to move forward. And there it is right there in stationary position. So it'll take a couple of days before it starts to pick up speed. And it will leave this part of your chart and go into this 8th house once again. So a lot of activity in this 8th house this month. Okay, so this is going to be very important, but Mercury moving forward is absolutely more beneficial than having Mercury in retrograde mode because when it's moving direct, we could think a little bit more clearly. Our conversations are not garbled and there's not a lot of confusion, or it shouldn't be a lot more confusion in the mix with this Mercury going direct. So this is going to help as it begins to speed up. Now we also have a full moon in Libra on the 12th, affecting the second house of income and values. It's going to be in Libra at 23 degrees, so whatever that is in your birth chart. You want to pay attention to that because this is about relationships, all kinds of relationships. And since you start off the month with this nostalgic feeling about relationships, so I wish I had this and I wish this and my partner's from here. I mean, we're going down memory lane because Venus and Mercury, Venus is partnerships and Mercury is about communication. So now we add another element to the mix. And this is the full moon in Libra, which is ruled by Venus. Venus rules Libra and Taurus. And so now we have this feeling of being isolated, neglected, nobody cares for me, nobody loves me, a relationship may be coming to the forefront that you're not sure about anymore, that kind of stuff. Now it is the second house of income and values, so maybe you're learning something, maybe you're teaching somebody else about some values, but also, once again, it is a money house. So again, I'm seeing issues around money or concerns around money, finances, the future. This seems to be the theme here. And because both the second house and the eighth house both pertain to that. Okay, joint ventures, financial investments, real estate matters, partnerships in business, all of that stuff falls under the umbrella of the second and eighth house. So this is going to bring something to light with a partnership or a relationship. Now, at the same time, about an hour later, Venus begins to go direct. Okay, there it is in stationary position, and it will start moving forward again, but it won't leave this house until May, the beginning of May. So the good news is, Venus moving forward, you could get a little bit more clarity. Things begin to sort of make sense to you a little bit more. And, you'll be able to solve some problems or get some help, that kind of stuff, because it's the seventh house of partnerships and relationships and other people. And so this is definitely going to help. But notice it also runs right into Saturn here, which is the great restrictor. And so you have to be patient this month. As much as the energy is forcing you to change and you're looking at the world completely different, you still have to be patient this month because you got to give at least a week or two for these planets to start moving direct. And so that's why I said the first half of April is a little tricky, but the second half should improve quite a bit. Now, Mercury enters Aries on the 16th. Okay, there it is right there in Aries. Now, Mercury works very well in Aries. It's very quick, very sharp. It speaks its mind, but it's in the eighth house of deep psychological transformation, and it runs right into Neptune right there. So either your imagination is going to be off the charts, or you're going to have very strong premonitions or memories from the past, or imagination is going to really be running wild, because Mercury is in such a strong position right now with Neptune. Neptune could add confusion, fantasy, unrealistic expectations. If you're an artist, this could be great for that. Maybe you're going into some sort of psycho-counseling, psychology, or going to somebody for help or counseling. This definitely fits that bill with Mercury now in Aries, which is the self, and Neptune in the eighth house could be like going to a psychologist or a counselor of some kind for help. And that is very possible here. Now, the other thing it could represent, the eighth house also represents surgeries. So let's hope you don't have to have surgery. Maybe somebody that's having surgery, but these two could indicate some sort of medical procedure as well. So we have to keep an eye on that too. But again, I'm being very general here because it could be anything based on your birth chart, but this is what it generally means. Now, Mars enters Leo on the 18th right there. It was retrograde since December 6th of 2024. Then it went back into Cancer, stayed in Cancer for the longest time, and now it's returning back to Leo. Now, Mars in Leo is a very strong position, so it's very aggressive, goes after what it wants. But when Mars is in the 12th house, it's weakened a bit, because it wants to shine, it wants to be seen, it wants to be heard, but the 12th house is like the mirage, it's like the illusion, it's like limitations, it's like feeling imprisoned, okay? And so when Mars goes through Leo, you might find yourself very creative in a sense, maybe enjoying more music, spending time by yourself and really appreciating things. It's a great time for creativity on projects, on your own, okay? But Mars in Leo here could also be very psychic. So between the Neptune here and Mars and Leo here, the premonitions, the psychic ability, the visions, the dreams, these could be very profound for many of you. You just have to tune into them if you understand them, and don't project any fear. Mars is weakened in the 12th house, so don't start feeling sorry for yourself. Virgos and Pisces, the opposite sign of Virgo, tends to feel sorry for itself because they're striving for perfection that they cannot find. But it's all an illusion, friends. Okay, so Mars in the 12th is very creative, can be very positive, but also on the downside, it could be self-sabotage. Nobody loves me. I don't care anymore. That kind of mindset. So be very careful of that. Okay. Now, the Sun enters Taurus on the 19th. The dynamics begin to change big time because it's entering the 9th house of travel, exploration, learning. And this is about the meaning of life, the purpose. But Taurus is about getting back to the basics. So what this is suggesting as the Sun makes its way through the next 30 days into Taurus, to get back to the basics, to understand, enjoy the small things in life. This will make a greater difference. So enjoy the Taurus energy. And also, we have this tricky one going on here on the 26th. Mars opposes Pluto. Right there, 3 degrees, 3 degrees. We need to watch the health, mental and physical health with these two going back and forth. Now, everyone's going to be feeling this. But for you guys, Virgo rising, Virgo sun, you'll be seeing the 6th house versus the 12th house, which has a lot to do with the health houses, the mental health and the physical health. So if you feel yourself being tired or drained, relax, enjoy, lay down, because the energy is going to be very intense from about the 20th on to the 26th. So you want to pay attention to that. And last but not least, we have a new moon in Taurus in the 9th house, which is basically suggesting, hey, look at your values. Are they in alignment with what you really want and who you are? And so the 9th house can be very optimistic. It can be very playful. And again, once again, in Taurus, it has to do with getting back to the basics. So go out for a nice meal. Enjoy the company of somebody you really care about. Play with animals. Whatever works for you. Get back to the simple things, because that'll bring you some greater joy this month. So the second half looks much better than the first half, okay? There's still a few, obstacles in the way, but it's improving. The energy's starting to improve with all the Taurus energy coming into being, okay? So there you have it. There's the general overview. If you want to know more, I do an extended version of this horoscope in my Inner Circle community, as you can see here. I teach astrology in the Inner Circle community. I do a weekly astrology overview, which the members seem to really enjoy. They send me questions, and I address them on Sunday Zoom calls. So every Sunday we have a Zoom call. And I go over people's charts. I teach astrology. We go over current events. Whatever's going on, whatever's on their minds, we address it as best as we can. Okay, so consider joining. There's a free 7-day trial, so there's no obligation. I left the link down below. Anyway, Virgo and Virgo rising, do the best you can. Have a great month, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.